So let's start. I'd like to introduce Mr. Peter Torok. He's the COO of mozaBook, and he's going to show us today and tomorrow how to enrich the books from El Salvador to make them interactive. Okay, so Peter, we're all yours.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your time today. So in the next 1.5 hours or maybe 2, I want to give you an introduction what we do here in Hungary. So as Ricardo mentioned, my name is Peter, and because we are very few of us today, feel free to take your questions during my presentation, because the goal here to get the picture, get the vision, what we think about digital education, especially in K-12, so for the public schools. So first of all, let me share my screen. I will use the same application that we are suggesting for the teachers to use. And I start with a very short introduction of our company to see our background. So our application were established our company were established more than 32 years ago as a textbook publisher. So our original and core business is to creating textbooks. First, we started with supplementary books, and over the years, we developed a complete portfolio, having more than 1,000 different titles for the Hungarian curriculum in K-12 education, and became the largest private publisher here in Hungary. However, 13 years ago, we wanted to provide some extension to our existing printed books. And then we started to exploring the possibilities of making some digital. And then we established our own development team inside the company. Over the years, this department became the priority. So now our main product is the digital platform. The digital platform, which contains of different applications. Today, we want to go through on the mozaBook application, but partially I also will mention what we are offering for students and also for school administration as well. Today, more than half of our 200 employees are directly working on the digital development, and we have our own 3D department in-house who producing this content, and also we have video team as well. So we're not simply doing a software component, we also developing a lot of ready-made content, which we will see later today. We have more than 40 languages. The number of languages emerging so fast that we cannot always edit the presentation itself, which tells 32, but now we already have 40 languages, and Spanish is one of our top priority. Now we're producing Spanish as Spain Spanish or as an international Spanish, but technically it's also available to provide some localization like English and American English. We are represented in more than 40 countries through 60 partners, and we are active in nearly all the continents. Only Australia is missing, but otherwise in the States, South America, we also have long-term partnership in Chile, for example. We already operating servers in Chile. Then, of course, Europe, our home market, and also on Far East and Africa. Our application portfolio can be divided into 3 main areas from the viewpoint of the education itself. The green one is mozaBook. This is intended for the teachers as a teacher application suite. As I mentioned, in first place, it was an electronic ebook viewer, but during the years, it became developed towards a teacher presentation suite. So it can be a single point of access for a teacher to do everything they need in digital, from accessing the internet, local textbooks, presentations, experiments, videos, and so forth. However, students also need to access all these digital materials, but in a bit different way as they more consuming the content in first place. For them, we have different doors. One of them is MozaWeb, which is for a web portal for the students. And then we also have native Android and iOS applications, also allowing offline access for the students. The third main area, which will only be slightly mentioned in our presentation, is school administration. inside the school administration, this is purely about the administration of the school life. So it's not about the teaching, but the logs of the teaching. It's an electronic diary where teachers can track the progress of their students, can share information with parents, and also administer things like money collection for the canteen, or generating end of the year reports. And it also can be combined with governmental statistics, so it can provide governmental statistics as well. There are also a lot of smaller bubbles. Those are some other minor applications which are colorfuling the whole picture. One of them, which will also be involved in our common project with you, is the online book editor, which is technically a tool to creating the digital editions from existing PDFs and providing access for all the users. So basically that will be the framework of our today presentation. But before going forward, if you can spend a couple of minutes to introduce yourself and your role in this project, it would be very nice.
Well, maybe I'm going to start. My name is Marcela Guevara. I work at the Ministry of Education of El Salvador. I'm a mathematics technician, and I work in the Department of Curriculum. We are the, how do I say it? We make books of mathematics that the students in the public system use in their classes.
Thank you.
And my name is David. I work in the Ministry of Education. I make the book Mathematics. Only that.
Great, thank you. And one minor question. Do you already doing or providing any digital activities or any digital things to your teachers, or you now planning to do so?
We have some digital activities, mostly for geometry, using GeoGebra. And we make some other interactive activities using Learning App. It's a website for activities, and mostly that.
And how the teachers can find these materials?
Since the pandemic started in 2020, and we have to provide like digital materials for them to give the students. So we have like a website where they can find the classes and these activities.
I see. And is it a public website or only the teachers can access it?
No, it's a public website.
Okay, later on I will show some examples how these existing materials can be interconnected. So maybe then we can use that as an example. So just to reassure, if you have any questions during I speak, because we are very few today, please feel free to stop and then we can discuss. The goal is to get the picture, what we think about digital education. So in first place, the teacher who are in the classroom, what they meet if they have a device. If they have a projector or a screen, they can use it in a similar way as they would use a normal chalkboard. They can create an empty document. We call these document exercise books. Basically, these are the presentations, but we call them exercise book as it's more a school phrase. When the teacher creates an exercise books, there is a common parameters which they can set up. Now let's start with some default configuration. So I immediately got a white paper on which I can start writing. One of the options which I can use for writing are the pencil case. Inside the pencil case, I have various basic and more complicated pencils, which I can start to use to write on the screen. Either I can use an interactive screen, or I can use mouse and keyboard as well. That will be important during the whole application. If you have a classroom which only having a standard non-interactive projector and the teacher has mouse and keyboard, they can use everything as well. So the point here is the content. That's the key thing. Not simply the functionality, but the content which you can provide for the teacher. Then, if the teacher using an interactive screen and they want to produce some fun stuff, they also can use some features like handwriting recognition. So if I write on the screen, simply I can tell hello. Or I can go and write, for example, San Salvador. Then, if I need some content from the internet, I can simply open up the media gallery. Let's look for images. The point here that we are trying to provide an access for virtually everything inside the application. So if I want to search the internet for an image, I don't need to leave the application. I can simply open up the media gallery. I can select the search like internet, Mozaik provided content, my self-storage, or built-in clip art gallery. Now I'm searching on the internet, but I don't need to understand that I'm going to Google. Google gives me some results. I go to the website, I download. So it's very important to simplifying the technical things to allowing the teachers to concentrate on the pedagogical things. Easily, I can just simply drag and drop any content which I need from the media gallery. So I can easily put together my presentation. We have tools which we call them to show a very simple one, let's say a puzzle. What we call tools in our terminology, it's also worth some time to explain, but let's see some very easy example. This tool is about to create a puzzle from a certain image, which you can use, especially in lower ages, to create some activity. However, if you want to make a puzzle from some specific image, you can just easily drag and drop. The point here that there is a lot of integration between the different components of the system. For example, when I'm drag and dropping an image from the result set of my search into the puzzle application, in the background, many things happening, but the teacher just simply feels as it works. Now, if I compose some activity and I created a specific activity, which we call them a state of the tool, I can directly pin it. So when I'm pinning an interactive activity, it becomes an icon in my presentation. When the teacher clicks this icon, they get exactly the same they have provided into the tool. That's a very important thing, the preparation. So your team will be able to prepare all those activities which the system provides up to the finest details to provide to the mass of the teachers to use without being able to configure. In this way, you can simply transmit a knowledge of a smaller team to a wider audience, and through that, they can improve their digital capabilities by shortening the time needed. So if you create a presentation from San Salvador and you want a puzzle inside, the teacher who downloads your presentation and using on their lessons, they do not need to being able to use the gallery for search or to use the tool library to create a puzzle, as they simply click the icon and the puzzle opens as it should be. This is a key moment how you can speed up the process of adaptation of a new system. What else important? That presentations, I feel it's very important and very nice thing in which you can compose a lesson plan which they go through. But what every teacher and every student has, and you worked a lot on it, is the textbooks. So mozaBook allows a direct integration with the existing textbooks. So here in the textbook library, I can simply open up the El Salvadorian textbooks. For this demonstration, I have preloaded the grade 7 mathematics textbooks and the workbook as well. We can add all the existing textbooks. Then teachers can simply open up these pages. They can go through. Then they can open up specific page sections. They also can use standard drawing tools like highlighter to show and drive the attention of the students. They also can save back to the book itself, or they can directly write on the book. They can open up different things. They also can use different drawing activities. But the key point here, that when you're creating interactive activities, all of them can be directly saved into the book. What will be the benefit? Let's imagine an average teacher who don't really into IT and don't really want to take a lot of efforts to exploring its possibilities. We can provide this teacher a very clean user interface. Even they can start in simple mode. They just simply select the book, they go to the certain page, and they will find the activities. But what activities? The activities which you need to create. So inside the library, there is a lot of interactive tools. Let's start with a very simple one. This is not for grade 7, but it can be a good example for explaining the idea behind the tools. Why we call them tools? We call them tools because they are not for a specific task or a specific learning object, but they are a small application which the teacher, or especially the editorial team like you, can configure and can set certain parameters to match exactly what they want to demonstrate or give for practicing. So number line, because it's a very basic and easy one, I can use for demonstration. I can show the students, for example, what are the even numbers, or I can show them what does it mean when I'm jumping on the number line, like adding or subtracting numbers. So I can make visualization through my explanation for the kids. Then, if I need exactly this configuration inside the textbook, I make a small icon with the pin, and then this becomes part of the textbook. What are the benefits for this? If the teacher opens this textbook and they see that there is an activity here, they click on it, and then they see exactly what you have configured. That has a huge benefit, as the teacher who holding the lesson, they do not need necessarily being able to do all the steps to create this demonstration. But it can be readily made like canned food, and they can consume it. And that's very important when you want to make a big project to cover lots of teachers. What else these tools usually have? Tools not only have demonstration mode, but most of them has exercises. As education itself is not only about just telling and telling, I also need to make exercises in order to see my students' knowledge and status. So then I can generate exercises. When I'm going to generate an exercise, I see the topics which this application is about, like points, operations, and sets. This is what this number line tool helps teaching. Inside each topic, I can see certain examples. These are exercises. If I click on a certain exercise, then now the application generates me indefinitely new and new examples. 2 plus 11, and I need to make my guess that it should be 13. If it's correct, it turns blue. And then I need to click next, and it will generate again, and it gives me the correct answer. How we can configure, as number line can also be started using from grade 1, but grade 1 students is not yet introduced the negative numbers. So I can go back and I can go settings. Inside settings, I can simply set which number range I'm interested in, either by selecting left and right or zooming in or selecting the predefined options. Now I set from 0 to 20. If I now go and generate the same exercise, it will be in the range of 0 to 20. If I make a pin now and adding a new small icon in the pin option, and I move it here, when I click it, I will directly see the same example, exactly what I inserted. That gives me the benefit. If the teacher in the lesson see that here is a paragraph, and next to that paragraph, there is an interactive activity, they click on it and they get exactly what they need. This is very important to preparing the content for the teachers. Then all these activities can be reused inside presentations. So if you're creating a presentation, you also can directly export the content of the tool into an image, and also you can insert the tool as an image. The difference between the two, that now I have a transparent image as a component in which I can make my own presentation. I can draw on top of it, or I can say, let's say it's 13 or something. If I made a presentation, which could be a lesson plan, then I also able to attach to the textbook. If I'm going to this pay-per-click and I'm saving page link, first I need to save my presentation. Let's say call it sample. For each presentation I save, I can select a topic. Let's say this is mathematics, and let's say it's grade 7. When I'm selecting the topic and grade, I also can select if this one is linked to a specific textbooks. Let's say this is linked to grade 7 as Salvadorian textbook. Then I'm saved. I go to the paperclip and saving an icon into the textbook itself. It will mean for the teacher that if they come to this textbook and I see this icon, there is a related presentation, like a related set of slides, which they can show or they can use inside their lesson. So when they click it, the system automatically opens the presentation in that specific page where the linking was designated. Let's see some other tools. There are plenty of tools for lower grade mathematics, which some of them I also want to show you, as I guess you're not only interested in higher classes, but get a general picture. One of them which can be very nice is the money tool, in which you see another layout. The big image here is usually the plain presentation mode, like when you have an empty desk and you can start putting different things together. You can select different currencies. I haven't checked whether we have El Salvadorian money, but I guess we do not yet. But later on, we also can.
US dollars, Peter.
Okay, let's find US dollars. So even local currencies can be added anyway. So now let's put into exercise mode. When I'm going to exercise mode, It's beneficial for the teachers and the students to see some real hands experiments and drive the attention of the students. So I can select, for example, a basic type like shopping. I also can configure many of our applications, the leveling, whether it needs to be more simple or more complicated numbers. Or I need 1, 2, or 3 objects. So I can set up the level depending on where I am in the textbook. In the beginning, I can set lower level, and when it's evolving. Now, I have the exercise to add these numbers and count how much need to pay here. And then I can easily evaluate and it show me whether it's correct or not. Then we can go into more complicated exercises, like balancing out when I have something, when I buy something, I already have something, and then I need to give the missing amount. Or making them even. I have 2 sides and I have to move certain object back and forth to make them equal. Or to simply changing money, giving change. So if I pay this amount and I have and I bought this, how much will be the change? If I made an exercise and I need this specifically in the textbook, I can directly go to pin it. Now let's use the small icon. So if I place the activity into the book, whenever I'm click it, I can directly reach exactly the same state as it was inserted. Again, the teacher who are in the classroom, they do not need to being able to configure everything inside the tool. They can simply go click the icon as you prepared and they get the activity immediately. Then let's move forward. I will skip some of the lower grade ones, but let's see some higher grade ones like the coordinate system. In this example, you can have a coordinate system in which you can add certain objects. Let's say adding a circle. Either I can define the circle by the central point and the radius, or by 3 points on the sphere. Then I can do certain operations with them. I can show the definition. Then I also can simply move these to certain locations. And let's see some transformations. For example, rotation around a certain point. I can define the point, I can define the degree, and I can see how the definition turns during the rotation. Or I can simply show my students how different functions works. Let's see a sinus. I can give the parameters, and then I can just simply add it to my drawing. As I'm showing the definition of it, like this is 2 sinus x, I also can show the students by moving it upwards that which component is changing, or moving it right and left, and I can visually show them how the different components are changing. So in many places, all the visualization and examples can help the students to perceive the whole point more easily. And if I see well, I was generating the link from the wrong Zoom account, so it will end in 1 minute. Can you confirm that all of you are in the WhatsApp chat? Because I need to restart the Zoom from my company account, which I made the mistake during giving the link to you. And I can post the link into the WhatsApp group. And I kindly ask you to rejoin.
Yes, we're on the WhatsApp.
Okay. So
ya manda la nueva link que dice que por error cogió la personal y no la de la empresa, para que no tengamos que estar cortando.
Okay.
Or if it's easier, I also can post here in the chat. And I posting to the WhatsApp. Okay. And,
Okay, thank you.
and I'm closing this one and restarting the other one.
Okay. Thank you.